Good afternoon. I wonder. It shows I'm live right there, so kind of keeping an eye out. Because people are not getting notifications, and yep, it makes it for very lonely lives. Even my wife said, I'm not getting notifications that you're live. Yeah. It's great. Thanks. You know, my shoe cannot scratch your neck, just so you know. Happy Saturday, June 15th. We're halfway through the month. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about the 8-step. We're talk about the 8-step today. Shows it right there. Okay, I'm not going to do that because sound was coming back. Ouch. No claws. Claws hurt. No making biscuits on my legs. All right. Let's do some introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I've got to figure out a better way to get this done and get this out. This is. I'm just going to say what it is. This is fucking stupid. If you're here, please say hello. Move that. Okay, everything's just not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to read from 12 by 12 today. Can you do that while you're on my lap? Okay. Steps 8 and 9 are concerned with personal relations. First, we take a look backward and try to discover where we have been at fault. Next, we make a vigorous attempt to repair the damage we have done. And third, having thus cleaned away the debris of the past, we consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with every human being we know. Okay? So you already kind of wrote this list. Okay? It was your grudge list from your fourth step. So I recommend that if you're going to burn your 4-step or destroy it or something, that's quite common with people. Take a picture of your grudge list or write it down, something, so you don't have to rewrite it. Now, you're probably going to be adding more people on. But see, by the time you've gotten to step 8, things have changed. Listen to what it's saying. We consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with other people, right? Yeah. Because now we have discovered the things that are standing in our way of the sunlight of the spirit. Now that we know, we can do something about it, right? Because we're people of action now. It's like, okay, I recognize, hey, I have these character defects. So I'm going to ask God to remove them, just like I did with alcohol. God gave me that perfect release from alcoholism, or from alcohol, right? So I can expect kind of the same thing. The alcohol is a perfect release. The rest, I found in my experience, is not necessarily so. I have flaws. I'm human. I make mistakes. I'll even make a mistake knowing it's a mistake sometimes. I'm just human. Things happen. Maybe I reacted in that situation or something, right? Instead of thinking about it. This is a very large order. Yep. Yeah. If this was easy, this is what everybody would be doing, right? Because the human brain just looks for the easier, softer way. That's its only function in my in my experience anyway. For normal people, they probably use their brain a little bit more. It is a task which we perform with increasing skill but never really finish. You don't want to finish this. I don't want this to be finished. Why? Because I'm making headway in our new adventure, which is coming up here. Okay. I have a new adventure in my life at this point. I have different reasons for living. I have sustenance in my life now. Right? I'm a stoic person. That means that I walk through things that are hard, even though that they're hard, and I do it with my head held high. Because I know that I can walk through it. Quite often, there are people hand in hand with me walking through it with their head held high too. I don't do this alone, but sometimes I am alone. But even then, I'm not, because I have God with me. So I'm never really truly alone. Learning how to live with the greatest peace, partnership, and brotherhood with all men and women of whatever description is a moving and fascinating adventure. It is. It's the neatest thing in the world. And when you get to a point where you can see the world for what it is, yes, there's a lot of bad things that go on, but there's a lot of beautiful things that go on too. All right. Where are we going to give our attention? Because remember, whatever we give our attention to is what's going to get more energy. Okay. So if I put my energy towards helping other people, then what I will get is a good life. I was talking to my 5-year-old granddaughter yesterday about bullies. And she says, I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies either. Nobody likes bullies. Even bullies don't like bullies. But we had a little talk about bullies. And I said, I still get bullied. And she said, adults bully too. And I said, sure they do. Sure they do. In fact, the bullies that you meet are because their parents probably bully them, and that isn't very nice, is it? So they don't know how else to act. So I kind of feel bad for them because then they don't get to be happy. And she's like, yeah. It was just neat to see her understand that, and we talked about God. We talked about, and I just explained to her, because she's trying to figure out how grandpa is doing this, but he doesn't have a job. That's what she's trying to figure out. All my kids are trying to figure out how I do this. I try to figure out how I do this. Right? But it came down to both this 5-year-old and I agreed that God has to do with if you do good things in this life, then you will get good things back. But if you do bad things, then you expect bad things in life. And she certainly understood that. But I gave her several different examples because, yeah, all right. But it was just neat, right? Every AA has found that he can make little headway in this new adventure of living until he first backtracks and really makes an accurate and unsparing survey of the human wreckage he has left in his wake. Now, we do this after the fourth and fifth step because we've accepted the fact that we have some character defects, and that's okay. It's okay that you have those character defects. Did you know that almost everybody in this whole world has those character defects? It's just that we alcoholics tend to take things to the extreme when it comes to emotions. So that's why it's more dangerous for us to be living in resentment and anger and fear and frustration. Right? But until I go back, see, and now I can go back and take an accurate and unsparing survey because I've accepted those things about me. And now I can go back and say, yes, I did those things, and I don't have to feel guilt and shame. Why is that? Because you've been forgiven. You've already been you were forgiven in step 6. Everybody was forgiven in step 6, including you. How do you think you were reborn before that 9th step? You asked God for forgiveness, and he gave it. As soon as you asked for it, he gave it to you. He said, yeah, I just been waiting for you to ask. I know about all your derelictions, and you know what? I love you. That's always his answer to me. He's like, yeah, Deanna, I know you're full of snakes. And you know what? I love you. And you're worth all the time that I give to you. Maybe I can give that away. Those are the gifts that we are given that we get to give away. That's so cool. And they said that we are hopeless and helpless. No, you're not. Not anymore, you're not. Now you're a mover and a shaker. You're a person. When you complete this program and you do it right, you can make some changes in this world. I'm telling you, one person can make a difference. One person can make a difference. One person made a difference in my life. But now I can go back and do this because I don't feel guilt. I know I did it, okay? But I've said it out loud. I've admitted my sins, okay? To a degree, has already done this when taking a moral inventory. See? But now the time has come when he ought to redouble his efforts to see how many people he has hurt and in what ways. So what's going to happen is in 6 and 7 is you're going to get a certain set of gifts. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to double down. Every time you get a gift from God, double down. How do you do that? It's real simple. Thank you, God. That's double downing in my book. What I'm saying is thank you. I saw that. Time for the next one. That's what that means. Okay? Time for the next one means something's coming up to where I'm going to need to be available. That's what that means to me. It happened to me yesterday. I went to a 5:30 meeting. Something kept bugging me saying, no, you go to the 5:45. Go to the 5:45. So I left that meeting. I went to the 5:45. Lord, did they need me? Her internet went down. I had to take over. I haven't been in this meeting in a year, but it doesn't matter. It's still an AA meeting. And I did what I could to help. I'm going to tell you, I was irritated by this because it's like everywhere I go, I can't have a meeting. I just want to be, I don't want to lead the darn meeting. I don't want to consume all the service work. Okay. So like when I go to my 3 o'clock meeting and they ask for volunteers, I don't volunteer. I wait till everybody else has decided whether they want to do it or not, and I take what's left over. Okay. I take what's left over because we need it done for the group. Okay. This reopening of emotional wounds, sometimes old, some perhaps forgotten, and some still painfully festering, what look at first look like a purposeless and pointless piece of surgery. But if a willing start is made, then the great advantages of doing this will so quickly reveal themselves that the pain will be lessened as one obstacle after another melts away. Okay? Pain or fear. Fear. And in this situation, you're probably going to have some fear. I did. Sure, I did. Still do. Now, what happens with fear? Because I have found in my experience that I do not get less fear. What I get is more courage. How do I get more courage? I do that by walking through things that are hard. That's how I get more courage. Okay. My higher power has a love language. His love language is trust. And the more I trust my higher power, the better my life becomes. These obstacles, however, are very real. Aha. These obstacles weren't made up. These are very, very real. Remember, you've gotten down to causes and conditions. That means that the problems coming along now are probably real now. They're real now. Okay. Before, when I got here, when I first got here, I had so many problems I could never solve them. But I found out that like 60% of them were made up. They didn't even exist. I made them up in my head. Then I got a good night's sleep to find out that, I make mountains out of molehills. It's my extreme thinking. The bigger the problem is, the more dramatic, the better. And that's right. That's my old behavior. Old behavior. So the first and one of the most difficult has to do with forgiveness. It is. It has to do with forgiveness. That's why I was saying earlier, it's been done. And hopefully your sponsor let you know that when you did the fifth step. We were reborn. It said it right there. Okay. The moment we ponder a twisted or broken relationship with another person, our emotions go on the defensive. To escape looking at the wrongs we have done one another, we resentfully focus on what he has done us. This is especially true if he has in fact behaved badly at all. Triumphantly, we seize upon his misbehavior as a perfect excuse for minimizing or forgetting our own. We can't do that. In fact, let's just go ahead and read the next paragraph. Right here we need, or next couple of sentences, right here we need to fetch up ourselves quickly. It doesn't make much sense when a real tosspot calls the kettle black. Let's remember that alcoholics are not the only ones bedeviled by sick emotions. Moreover, it is usually a fact that our behavior when drinking has aggravated the defects of others. We have repeatedly strained the patience of our friends to a snapping point and brought out the very worst in those who didn't think much of us to begin with. In many instances, we were really dealing with a fellow sufferers, people whose woes we have increased. If we are about to ask for forgiveness for ourselves, why shouldn't we start out by forgiving them one and all? Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. You were forgiven. See, a bunch of forgiveness happened. Now it's your turn. Do you know what happens when you start to forgive people? And just don't worry about what they did to you. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter. What they did to you doesn't matter anymore. How you reacted is what matters. This is what my granddaughter and I were talking about with bullies. Because I was saying, just because they're mean to you doesn't mean that you should be mean back to them. because otherwise you're not being nice either. And she's like, yeah, I know, but that's hard. It's hard not to push back. And I said, look, what we need to do is remember that they're hurting. They're hurting. Okay. Now, I don't like bullies either. I see you bullying, I'm going to say something. I got boundaries, you bet. I'm not going to allow you. I'm going to pull you aside and say, hey, man, you can't do that. Do you see what you're doing? And I hope we can reach you, because I don't want you to leave. I want you to get better. Oh, no, they made a mistake. Go say something, man. There's been times when I've done passive bullying myself, and I should be confronted on it. Somebody should say something to me. Okay. All right. There's a reading. There's today's reading. So let's do it, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up. June 15th. Learning how to live in peace, partnership, and brotherhood with all men and women is a fascinating and often very moving adventure. Here we are, adventures again. It is. This program will provide an adventure for you. Okay. Now, the unhealed child in me loves this. Okay. All alcoholics, we have children living inside of us. Okay. We're Toys R Us kids, man. We'll be children all of our lives because we never got a chance to grow up. Nope. We never got a chance to grow up. I didn't. You probably didn't have that chance either. Not if you lived in an alcoholic home. Some people did. Some alcoholics, they grow up in a regular, normal home. You know, doesn't happen that way with everybody. But for the most part, yeah. Now, what's great about that? Well, see, I don't really want to reach. The destination's death. I don't want to reach it. I don't. I'm having too much fun with the adventure. There's the biggest part. When I came into this program, I wanted me dead. Now I don't want to die. Now I don't want to. That, you too. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. Yeah, we have guardian angels. Haven't met an alcoholic that didn't come close to death. One way or another, it's just, I don't understand it all, but I don't need to either. So, all right. But each of us in the program has found that we were not able to make much headway in our new adventure of living until we first take time to make an accurate and unsparing survey of the human wreckage we have left in our wake. I heard a lot of people, okay? This comes back to cleaning my side of the street. Think of it as your backyard, okay? Remember when you were growing up, oh, can I go next door and play once your room is clean? Aha. Okay, here we are again. Clean your room. Make your bed. Okay, why? Because you cannot transmit something you do not have. And if you are not serene at the moment, you're not going to be able to pass that on. If you're not happy at the moment, you're not going to be able to pass that on. Okay, so what is that? Why is that in comparison with that? Because if we remove everything that is blocking us from the sunlight of the spirit, all you have left is the truth, my friends. And the truth is beautiful. Okay? I'm going to tell you something about the truth. Number one, it's hard to fucking hear. That's number one about it. Number two, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell the truth. I'll tell you why. Fear. Fear of replication of what other people might think of me. All right? Now, here's the thing. Every time we strive for hearts or likes or thumbs. Okay. That is old behavior. That is old behavior. That's actually bad. If you go out seeking attention, I do it, and it's not always good. Every time, if I put something up and I'm looking for hearts and likes, that's the devil's work. That's what we call a foothold of happiness. Yeah. Have I made a list of all persons I have harmed, as step 8 suggests, and become willing to make amends to them all? Willingness is key. Willingness is key. You cannot be so close-minded to think, I will never, ever make that amends. Okay? Now, I have a few amends. My older brother, he flat out told me, he said, Dion, I'm not doing your stupid night step. It's not what he said, but gosh, that's how it felt. Right? And so I didn't do it with him. I wrote him a letter that I'm never going to give him. Well, can't give it to him. I threw it away. So, there are exes that have moved on with their lives. They do not need to hear from me. Nope. No. Now, if it pops up and they, let's say they appear in my life somewhere, here's an indication that I got to take care of something. If God sets up the situation where it says, okay, now you can see it and you would not harm them or anyone else. Now I got to do it. Now I have to do it because God set that up so I can. What am I really doing? I'm bringing something to justice. Forgiveness is done. That's why it's so beautiful. I've already changed. See, before I'd run my mouth and never change. Now I've changed. I kept my damn mouth shut. And then I changed. And now I'm coming to you saying what I did was wrong. And I noticed it, so I changed. That is justice, not forgiveness. And it's more powerful than forgiveness. Not only that, but who are we really to say, oh, you're forgiven and you're forgiven and you're forgiven? Isn't that kind of really? After everything I've done, I think that I should have the power to forgive that person. Maybe I shouldn't have built a resentment towards them in the first place. Maybe that's the case. All right. May God give me the honesty I need, not only to look inside myself and discover what is really there, but to see the ways that my sick and irresponsible behavior has affected those around me. May I understand that my addiction is not, as I used to think, a loner's disease. That no matter how alone I felt, my lies and fabrications spread out around me like widening circles of hurt. Today I remember lies spread to infinity. Okay? But so does the truth. Remember that we can be the opposite of what these things are, of what they were. So when we say something, am I honestly looking in and, and when I think about the fact that I hurt somebody and what happened when I hurt that person is then they hurt somebody. See now, Dion, what you said here hurt all these people I don't even know. I can do the same thing with goodness. Except with goodness, it goes faster and it's bigger. Okay? So you can do the same thing. Just do it the right way now. Okay? And it'll come back to you, I promise you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. We had some people hanging out. That's cool. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. Peace out and have a day.